I think we can all agree that when it comes to close relationships, one of the most important things you can understand about your partner is the beautiful gifts that they can bring to the relationship. And I don't mean gifts like physical, actual gifts. I mean qualities, traits, that sort of thing. And the key thing is for the other partner to understand and appreciate those gifts. In a relationship, we need to recognize that the other person has a right to be different from how you are. And rather than focusing on how you are different, focus on how these differences can benefit your relationship. Appreciate each other's contribution. So someone asked me on my Instagram about making a video on MBTI couple. While I have made a few MBTI couple videos before, in reality, there really is no good or bad or ideal kind of partnership, really. It all depends on how much each partner can compromise, how rigid or flexible each partner is. And just because you are a certain personality type doesn't mean that you're a carbon copy of another person of that same personality type. Everyone has their own individual differences too, their own personal life experiences. This obviously influences as well as culture, many things. So kind of all the combinations, whether you're all exactly the same, two ESFPs or completely different, ESFP and INTJ, all these different kind of combinations of people can bring joys and can bring hardships. I will say that those with similar relationships do communicate kind of easily. They have this sort of natural understanding and they kind of understand each other's perspective quite quickly. They usually share common values. However, the problem is they may also share the same blind spots. So one person may then end up having to take on a role that they're not particularly comfortable in because neither one of them is very good at that role. So whether it's being organized in terms of planning out day-to-day activities or being extroverted and social, if you're both introverts, then usually one person will then have to kind of take on that extrovert role, and they may resent that, or they may find that a lot of pressure, and so it just becomes working out a balance of taking on that role, and then the other partner then takes on the role for a while, and you kind of operate that way. So no resentment builds up when somebody is always sort of acting out of their preferred preference, because that leads to stress. So those with completely different preferences may have trouble understanding each other, have kind of different interests, and kind of disagree on what priorities they should be focusing on. But on the flip side, they can balance each other out. So if somebody has a non-preferred preference and the other person has that as their preference, they can then make it up for each other. So they become like a really good team if they communicate well with each other. They can also offer each partner another perspective, help the other partner get in touch with their non-preferred preferences or their less developed cognitive functions, and it can end up becoming a really beautiful relationship. You can see opportunities and take opportunities that otherwise you may have been hesitant to do so. Your life can take a new direction. It's full of excitement. It's a great thing to have different personalities interacting with each other. You don't end up in this kind of echo chamber of the same people over and over again. Not the same people, but you know what I mean.